Today, I'm doing a deal breakdown of a recent deal we just locked up actually yesterday. It should be pretty fun. It's a storage facility. Um, so it's a storage facility in Northern California, and the numbers look like this. So it's a storage facility. We are purchasing it for $900,000. We are putting 350 down at 1% interest, with a 10-year balloon, no payments for the first 9 months. And this deal came from cold calling, I believe. Shout out Honey, one of our cold callers. She's the one who generated it. Kalani pretty much negotiated the whole thing. The only thing I really did was somewhat look at the terms and see what can we do here to make it work. Oh, we got some people in the chats. Why I look so Gucci? Ooh, who's this? Why I look so Gucci? I don't know, but thank you. Thank you. I did shave the other day. What's going on, Brian? You should be on the phone with Kenmar, my man. So here's the deal. So we found this lead. We have a VA scrubbing prop stream 100% of the time. And you guys, with your comments, if you could leave. Oh, hey, Dino. I hope that was Dino for all three of them. With this, so we have someone scrubbing prop stream all day, every day. Well, not all day, but every day they go in and they go county by county and they look for all the storage facilities in a certain area. And we're pretty much pulling all of America is what we're doing. So we have certain areas that they go by county, go pull them, then they skip trace them. Then once they're skip traced, they send them to our team. Our team cold calls them or texts them, and then they're there and we talk to them. So this deal came in, I'd say about a month and a half ago. They said they were interested in carrying the note, and that is always good to hear. Right now, we are working on 3 other ones to where they said they were interested in carrying the note, and especially right now, with the way interest rates are, it makes it so we can give the seller more money overall, and we don't have to deal with a crazy monthly interest rate, and we can make a deal that works for us and them. So these guys, believe it or not, they had carried the note before, and they had to foreclose on the person before that was their pain point, right? So I think it's about 20 to 30% occupied. This is a storage facility. And so it's only 20 to 30% occupied. So that's awesome for us when you're on the phone, you're talking to them like, okay, do you have time to manage this? And they weren't super actively managing it. Like it wasn't like they were in a ton of pain. One thing, as you like move more and more into the commercial stuff, especially if it's free and clear, they may be done and just over it and they don't want to manage it anymore, but they're not in a ton of pain. Right. So awesome. So Kalani hears that. And so then they're like, yeah, we're thinking about like $1 million purchase. So they wanted like $1 million or like 1.3, I think. And we're like, well, we couldn't do that financed. Like, hey, we can't do that whatsoever. It's not going to work. But if you're willing to carry the note, we can give you some terms that we think you'll be happy with. And so at the beginning, we're like, okay, so what we'll give you is like, I think I want $1 million, $1 million purchase, 250 down, 0% interest is what our initial offer was. And they were like, yeah, okay, that sounds good. And that put us at a monthly payment in around the $2,000 mark, I believe, like around $2,000 a month, which would be awesome. Right now, it's bringing in about 2,700, and so with that, it's bringing in 2,700, and we told them no payments for the first 9 months, which is good because we got to go in there and stabilize it. And so we're like, okay, awesome, that works. And then they come back and you're saying, hey, you know what, that doesn't work anymore. We're looking for more down and more a month, and we thought that absolutely killed the deal until we hopped on the phone with shout out Equity Warehouse, Ian Horowitz. Ian was like, and we're like, hey man, here's the deal. Here's what we're looking at. We feel like we're tapped on these monthly payments. Like we just don't feel safe going into this because we don't want to put ourselves in a situation where the business is losing money every month, or we don't want to put ourselves in a situation to where we are underwater. And I think we amortized it over the first one over 30 years. And so the loan was 30 years long. And I think we had a 15-year balloon. And then and they're like, okay, well, I don't like the 15-year balloon and we'd want more monthly. I'm like, okay, how can we do this? And so then we looked at it like, okay, hop on the phone with Ian, look at everywhere in the market. And Ian was like, all right, so he thinks we're being too conservative as far as what we could drive the rents to, right? And how long it'll take to stabilize. So I was like, all right, so I think we can go to X. And so that freed up about $1,000 a month for us. And they were looking for about, I think we're like 2,200. They were looking for about 3,000 to 3,300. And we thought that was a deal killer. Like, okay, well, Ian thinks we can go up another 1,000 if we do this in the market. And so as we started to break down those numbers, we're like, oh, awesome. So here's the new deal that we can propose. And with that, now we were like, okay, so what do they want? So they want their 350 down because they're like, yeah, we want just a good chunk because we don't want to be put in a bad place. And the down payment wasn't that big of a deal for us because in owner finance, if you go no money down and you don't set up the other terms right, your monthly payment might be really high because there's no because that's just the total loan, right? So if I'm going like $1 million, no money down at a 3% interest rate, now it's $1 million loan instead of if I had put down 250, like a 750 loan. So now I'm there. We have that, and okay, so now we're at now we came in at a $900,000 purchase, 1% interest, amortized over 15 years, right? So their monthly payment could go up, and it has a 10-year balloon, right? So, but the reason we were comfortable with that balloon with a 1% interest rate, that thing pays down really, really fast. And so by the time that balloon pays down, we'll be in good shape. Like it won't, like we'll be fine, like we'll be secure. We won't be we won't be over leveraged or anything. So that's awesome. And we know we can drive our rents up significantly. So now we believe, let me pull this up real quick. Where are we at? I may have clicked out of it already. So we thought we could only drive our rents to about, let's say 70, to where now more than likely we feel like we can drive them to like a 140. So we feel like we can drive the rents double than what we initially thought. So now with that, that completely changes the game and allows us to go in and crush. Honestly, it's going to be really, really exciting. Our expense ratio is not going to change a lot. And so that's how we did it. I would say, how did we negotiate? The negotiation wasn't very hard. I think we lucked out by getting Ian on the phone and then talking to him about the deal. And then we somewhat had anchored them at our original thing to where we could have just come in at the beginning if that's what they wanted. We could have came in just with our original thing right there. We just didn't think it was possible. That's why mentors are so important. Shout out Ian again, who came in and was like, oh no, you're just being a little bit too conservative, man. Like you can still drive your rents up, raise your current rents, and drive more occupancy there. Anybody have any questions? We got quite a few people on here. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. And for our people on Facebook, when you leave your comment, please leave your name. But yeah, so that's how we found it. We found it through cold calling. We pulled the list through PropStream. Then Kalani called them. We submitted the first initial offer just regularly, like, hey, here's where we'll be at. There's one thing, here's another. We did have to negotiate with their attorney on terms of contract for about 2 weeks. I'd say that's the one thing that like held up for a long time. And generally, like as long as we had our terms that we needed in there, we were fine. And he wanted to use a basic car contract. And I know, shout out K Rid and Cade. Like, so it took like a whole team of like my network to help us get this done. Well, mine and Kalani's networks to get this done because their attorney wanted a car contract. And I was like, man, I've never used a car contract in my life. I don't know what. I'll go find someone else. So I called Kyle Rittering. Shout out K Rid. He's an industrial broker out here in Fresno. He wrote it up for me. And then we sent the attorney. We still had to hash out a couple things from there. We'd already sent him one contract that was our original. He was like, no, I want it on a car. So then we're like, okay, fine, we'll get it on a car. Like, they were not budging, which is fine. And so then we go from the car and we had to adjust like 6 different things over, well, I think it was like every day. It was like, okay, well, I don't like this and this. Like, okay, fine. And it wasn't, the nice thing was, it was like more of just like us being like, okay, like, I don't care. Like, that doesn't change our terms. It really doesn't change your terms. It's semantics. Let's keep on moving the deal forward. And you don't want to blow up a deal over like someone, unless like someone's like, oh yeah, well, I want this, this, and this, and it's just absolutely unreasonable, then fine. Like, we don't need to do it. And so with that, we had 2 weeks of essentially attorney negotiations. But then from there, we finally got it signed yesterday. And so now if you are interested in investing with us, send me a DM. I'd love to talk to you. But that's how we found it. Cold calling, So PropStream to cold calling. Then from the cold calling, we hopped on the phone with them, talked to them a little bit, and then once they were ready to sell, like, okay, here's the offers we can do. Then from there, we proposed a cash offer and then an owner financed offer. And then that didn't work. And we came in with one final owner financed offer and it worked out. Now we still we'll close by the end of the year. Super exciting. Again, if you guys are interested in investing with us, we would love to talk to you. We already have quite a few people who we brought in on the last deal who are bringing on the new one. So please let me know before the time runs out. All right, guys. Thanks so much for tuning in.